Hi, welcome to Beef Cattle Institute's Ask the Experts, where our experts answer your questions. I'm Brad White, joined today by two experts, Dr. Philip Lancaster
Hello, guys.
and Dr. Bob Weber.
Greetings.
So we're happy to have you guys here because we've got a great listener question for you relative to culling cows. So at this time of year when we do pregnancy testing, sometimes we end up with open or non-pregnant cows. And the question was, should I sell them right away after preg check? Should I maybe keep them till spring and feed them? Or should I try to rebreed them? So you've actually got three options. There's only two of you, although Bob, I expect you might have two different answers. So I'm going to start with Philip.
Well, I think it depends a little bit on your feed resources. This particular year, a lot of places are in drought and feed is scarce. So, I'm probably going to sell them right at weaning and get rid of the mouths to feed. But, in other situations or other parts of the country, if I've got plenty of grass and plenty of forage, I may keep her around, put some weight on her, especially if she's thin. Now, if she's already body condition score 5 to 6, it's going to not be very cost effective to put weight on her. But if she's thin, I can put weight on her cheaply and easily, and then I can gain some more value out of her.
Okay, excellent. So basically, resources available, decide if I can get to the next step or not. But your primary plan going into it was you're going to sell it right away.
Yeah,
Okay.
Particularly this year.
Okay, so 5 points for Philip. Start out, Weber.
Yeah, great question. And I'm sort of the I like to kind of classify them open cows that are old and young and thin and fat, and use that as a sort of a assuming you have adequate feed resources. The young fleshy cows rebreed, sell as fall breds. Yeah. And if you're a spring calver, because there's in this part of Kansas anyway, and further east, there is a fall cow market, and a bred cow is always worth more than an open cow. Old thin cows, feed those as well, and then old fleshy cows probably sell right away.
So I like that, a little more nuance to what my decision is based on the type of cow that I've got.
Yeah, and kind of what opportunity you might see on the horizon for her to maximize her value. But it's predicated a bit on available feed resources. And if you're tight on feed, I'd vote with Philip. Liquidate as many as you can just to tighten up the feed demand inventory. So,
okay, excellent. So 6 points for Weber at the start. So now let me follow up on this scenario and say, I decide to keep her, and I'm going to feed her, and I'm going to feed her separate from the herd, but I want her to gain weight relatively rapidly, but not be inefficient with my feed sources. Can I feed her hay? Do I need to supplement? And all, because I know you're going to ask the question, let's say my open cow is a body score 5, so she's in mid condition, but I still want to put some more weight on her before I sell her.
I would good quality hay and some supplement, probably 5-6 pounds of an energy supplement. You can get her to gain some weight. She's not a feedlot animal. You're not trying to get 3+ pounds a day out of her, but if you can get her to gain a pound a day, you're an open cow that doesn't have any energy demands should be able to do that fairly easily.
So when you say energy supplement, are you saying corn, or are you saying something more than corn?
I would probably do a mix of, but probably not very much corn, probably more highly digestible fiber sources like distillers grains, soybean hulls, wheat midds, those type of things, so that I'm not negatively hurting that forage digestibility, because that's primarily what her diet's going to be. But then I would make sure there's enough protein in there, vitamin minerals, and everything. So I'd look at doing a complete package there.
So, but I'm probably going to have to hand feed her in addition to the hay.
Yes.
Okay. So, Bob, I'm going to ask you, same scenario, except I'm not going to ask you about the nutrition. I'm going to ask you about the markets and cull cow markets. Do those vary by time of year? Are they seasonal? When would be based on prices, when would be the best and worst time to sell a cull cow?
Yeah, usually, historically, this fall period is kind of the most of the cull cows enter the market, so this is the high supply side, and so historically we typically see depressed cull cow prices. This year, because of the value of beef in general and the tight supply we have, they're worth quite a bit. But usually the target market sometime February or March, so deferring these cull cows until the spring as a market endpoint typically gets those higher cull cow slaughter cow prices, and certainly, the old strategy was my dad used to always call it, you roll them up in weight and you roll them up in value, right? So you move cows out of kind of the low yielding thin cow dressed beef market into the higher yielding, higher weight, right? So you put on a couple of body condition scores on those cows. So you made them way more and they're worth more per pound by putting them on feed and deferring to a February or March marketing endpoint. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of good points there as you think about making the decision. Not a simple decision. A lot of complexity to it. You guys gave some good information. Thank
But about
you.
40% of ranch value or ranch sales comes from cull cow marketing. So it's an important thing to spend
It's
some
an
time
important
on.
it's an important thing to think about. So Weber ended up with 9 points. Philip ended up with 8. Thanks for joining us. If you have other questions, send us an email at bci@ksu.edu.